Hi guys, it's Elle, and today I'm going to be going over some Gyaru unpopular opinions. On my TikTok, which you should go follow if you don't, I asked you guys what are some of y'all's a little more controversial, unpopular opinions. And I'm going to basically review y'all's opinions and say whether or not I think it's valid or not. Before we even get started, opinions are like assholes, everyone's got them. Doesn't mean I want to see it. I wrote down a few that either resonated with me or some that I feel like needs to be like talked about, or some that I think are really just misconceptions that a lot of people don't realize are misconceptions. I was trying to come up with my own unpopular opinions, and then I realized I don't have too many strong opinions, so I think I only wrote two down that were my personal ones. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. There's no need to stall any further. First one is, I hate the Hime Gyaru x Tsuyome Gyaru outfits that are coming together with these newer gal brands. And this is something I wrote down because I also think it, but I also have seen some people that I'm mutuals with say the same thing. Hime and Tsuyome are kind of like on the opposite ends when it comes to like Gyaru substyles. So it's very strange when newer gal brands come out and they immediately want bubblegum pink pastels, you know, and then they're just gonna slap leopard print on it, which I'm not saying Hime Gyarus can't wear leopard print, but it's clear that like you're trying to combine two aesthetics that don't necessarily mesh together. Again, I don't feel too strongly about this. I just think some of them are a bit ugly. Shushu Cherry is an offender on this end, but I'm sure there's some other brands I just can't think of at the moment that do this. I'm not too terribly angry at it. There just hasn't been a whole lot of newer stuff that are specifically dedicated to Tsuyome. I feel like everybody does Hime, and that's because Hime can be a standalone aesthetic. It doesn't necessarily have to be Gyaru related, if you didn't know that. So I understand why people start with Hime. The second one is also my personal opinion. I don't know how other people are going to feel about this, honestly. I dislike when people ask for makeup tutorials on a substyle that's based on the clothing and not the makeup. There are so many substyles of Gyaru. Some of them, what makes it that substyle is the clothes. On the flip side, there are some that what makes it the substyle is the makeup. Specifically, an example of this, when people ask for like Agejo makeup tutorials, I've seen people do these Agejo makeup tutorials, and usually the makeup tutorial is just like a nice smoky eye. And to me, that's not necessarily privy to Agejo. You can do a smoky eye with any color and it be Gyaru. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not necessarily like an Agejo thing. I do understand how some substyles, like, you're not gonna see like Mamba makeup paired with Agejo. So I get that kind of, but even then, it's like, it's not necessarily a makeup style that's like specific to Agejo. I'm just using Agejo as an example. And now the rest are some that were in the comments. I got a lot of comments, and honestly, after this video, I'm probably going to private that video because I don't want too much discourse and angry people in my comments, because a lot of y'all have some strong opinions about things. It's not that deep. The next one, it is okay to not wear Gyaru outside the house, aka it's okay to be a bathroom Gyaru or a bedroom Gyaru. Now let's dissect the term bedroom and bathroom Gyaru. What that means is you're a Gyaru that like you just have yet to wear it outside the house. When I first was starting with Gyaru, I didn't wear Gyaru clothes really. I mean, I was super big on to just like McBling and early 2000s attire in general, but I wasn't like super into the clothes yet. And so I just found doing my makeup, you know, very soothing, very relaxing, regardless if I was leaving the house or not. For like the first like 1 or 2 years of me being Gyaru, like I didn't wear it outside the house. And I don't think there's anything wrong with not wearing it out the house. I always tell people, you know, if you're new to Gyaru or you're kind of younger and you're worried about whatever situation you're in that's like making it harder for you to wear gal outside, in the meantime, still practice your makeup. You can still practice the mindset. I don't think what makes you Gyaru automatically is like if you wear it outside the house. I don't think who all sees you in Gyaru determines if you're Gyaru or not. What I don't like though is when people are like, but what if I don't? What if I don't want to do that? Then don't. I don't know what I don't know what you wanted out of me. I think it also just coincides when people are like, oh, I don't want to wear Gyaru out because I'm scared of being bullied, or my school is very strict dress code. Then just practice in the meantime until you were able to wear it out. I think it's very simple. Now this one, I kept getting polarizing comments on. Should you push the boundaries when it comes to what is gal and what isn't? Or should you just strictly follow the rules? Now, I think basic rules of like makeup, here's the things that you're gonna find in most Gyaru looks. Here's how most Gyarus dress, more or less. It's very weird to participate in an alternative style and then be like, you have to stay in this little itty bitty box. At least with gaijin Gyaru spaces, it just seems like we get a little too particular on what is considered Gyaru. The next one is Jedis and Gyarus have a lot more in common than they realize. This one I agree with. In one of my videos that I made about Jedi K, I realized like the basis of both styles, the reason why they exist, is pretty much the same. It's all still about rebellion. For an alternative style to be alternative is you either rejecting society or society has rejected you and you have then gone to claim that. And I think they both share that in common. And that's why I never understood why, in the gaijin community at least, like Jedis and Gyarus have some weird beef. Next one is you do not need to pick a specific style. I think this is only an unpopular opinion because so many baby gals are like, I want to be Gyaru, but I don't have a style yet. Just wear the makeup. When I first started doing Gyaru makeup, I didn't even think about substyles. During that era, nobody was really like, I'm this type of Gyaru. Some people forget that substyles were created because there was just a trend amongst the Gyaru community. One that I disagree with that is on this list, that Douyin, Dolly makeup, and Gyaru makeup are all the same. Now let me tell you why they're not. Because I feel like you're not gonna look at this complete look, this complete makeup look, and tell me this looks like Douyin. To say that they're the same is like so weird to me. Different approaches on just like making your eyes bigger, and I think that's what this person was kind of going for, like, oh, they all make your eyes look bigger. Douyin is just like popular makeup trends in China. Also, most Gyaru makeup, there's a droopiness to it, and that's what makes your eyes bigger. Whereas with Douyin, it's usually that you enlarge it this way. I can see you maybe getting Dolly makeup and Douyin confused. There are some styles of Douyin makeup that are meant to look Dolly. And that brings us to our next one of Chinese gals are valid. You would probably hear this and be like, no, why is that controversial? Why is that unpopular? The amount of xenophobia against Chinese gals needs to be studied within the community. It is so weird. And the only reason why people feel this way is because Chinese gals do their makeup differently. You can tell they're Gyaru. And I understand when people are like, kind of like just reminiscent of like Gabi style. The Chinese girls that I'm looking at, like, they're wearing gal brands. They're wearing the context. I think it's so weird to just single out a specific race and ethnicity. It's gonna be different because we're from different countries. Next unpopular opinion is something that I also used to think until, you know, some brain cells started to develop. And that is Reiwa Gyaru doesn't look Gyaru enough. And if you don't know what Reiwa Gyaru is like specifically named after a region in Japan. Basically like Gyarus from this area, this is how they mostly do their makeup. The flip side of that is Heisei Gyaru, more dramatic and things like that, whereas Reiwa is more toned down. When people say that they don't like Reiwa Gyaru, I think it is more so because they forget that Reiwa Gyaru still has to follow gal rules. And when you do more toned down Gyaru looks, there are certain things that you have to amp up, or things that like are non-negotiable. Like if you're doing more extreme looks, or you're a Kuro Gyaru, you have a tan, your makeup doesn't have to be too much extra. And that's why we have styles like Bombo, where it is on the technically the more extreme side of Gyaru because it does have that tan, but the eye makeup isn't as intricate, I feel like. But with Reiwa Gyaru, there's not always an emphasis on the tan. The eyeliner may not be as downturned and things like that, but Reiwa Gyarus will bleach their hair. They'll wear circle lenses. You know what I'm saying? They add something else to make it still Gyaru, and I think most people that are upset about Reiwa Gyaru don't realize that some people who are just wearing less makeup aren't necessarily Reiwa Gyaru. They're just wearing less makeup. I have heard sentiment from more older Gyarus, like people who have been Gyaru for a lot longer than me, say that Gyaru started off kind of like not as extreme, obviously, worked its way up to being extreme, and then once Gyaru kind of died down, and now has then made its resurgence back up, people started doing Reiwa Gyaru because the more extreme styles weren't as popular. Now they are, I think, more so amongst gaijin gyarus because that's the first thing that we think of when we say gyaru. The next one is gaijin gyarus have imposter syndrome. I have made a video on this where I discussed having imposter syndrome about being gyaru. I kind of agree where a lot of gyarus have this notion of, I'm not Japanese, so you have to try harder and do better at looking as gal as possible. I think that's mainly because a lot of gaijin gyarus, when we think of gyaru, we think of the more extreme styles, and we don't even consider the lighter styles. We always want to go to the extreme first, but like, I don't think Japanese gals have that impression when they look at gaijin gyarus. I don't think they really think that, oh, you guys aren't trying hard enough. It's so weird that so many people, including me, have been like, I don't think I'm gyaru because I don't always wear the lashes, or I don't always tan, I don't always have my hair teased. Nobody's always like that 25-8. You can chill. The next one I feel very opinionated on, and that is gyaru is inherently sexual, therefore minors should not be able to participate. I disagree, but I see where people are coming from with this. But you don't have to be hypersexual to be gyaru. Not every single gyaru you know was a sex worker, has a sugar daddy. No, minors were gyaru. That's where Ko gyaru comes from. And this next one kind of coincides with the whole like minors shouldn't participate, which is being against chibi gyarus who are younger than high school age essentially. And the only reason why I kind of agree with this, people's impression that they need to post online or have a certain like party lifestyle or wear short skirts and risque outfits to be gyaru. I feel like on Instagram especially, some chibi gyarus are being like put in spaces that I don't think they should be in. I think you should reevaluate why you want to be gyaru. It's the same thing with like how I say about like emos. You were seen as a poser if you were just doing things to be emo, rather than being like, I like this thing and it just happens to be an emo thing. I dress this way, it just happens to be emo attire. You know what I'm saying? And I think if you aren't over the age of 18, reevaluate why you want to be gyaru. Is it because you want confidence? Is it because you already have that confidence? I feel like you should just really think about why you want to be gyaru. Because if you just like the makeup, then practice the makeup. You don't have to do anything extra. Learn more about the history of gyaru before you feel like you can properly participate. The next one I didn't necessarily write, but I want to give my 2 cents on it because I had a lot of people commenting, and that is how substyles should come about. And a lot of people feel like they're made naturally. You don't have to go out where you can start this. And this is all because people feel some type of way about candy gyaru. Bitch, I'm a candy gyaru defender because it's not that deep. It's not that deep. For example, cyber gyaru is a substyle. And I feel like because a Japanese gal started referring to herself as a cyber gyaru, that everybody was just like, yeah, cyber gyaru has been a thing. I think because this person who made candy gyaru, or at least was trying to make candy gyaru a thing, isn't Japanese, they feel like they can't give their input. Japanese gyarus have said multiple times that their goal in life is just to have everyone be gyaru, to spread gyaru amongst the world. They're not trying to gatekeep it. I understand that most substyles just came about because it was just a current trend that was happening. I feel like when anybody tries to start a trend and something, nobody bats an eye, but because we're specifically talking about gyaru substyles, people have a lot of opinions. I also had some people commenting there's no need for new substyles, which to me is a dumbass comment, really. I think it's a stupid comment. And the reason why I think it's stupid is because, yeah, you don't need to do shit. You don't even need to be gyaru. You don't need to do shit but eat, sleep, and die. If we're talking about needs, gyaru was never about what you needed to do. Gyaru was about what you wanted to do. That's the whole point. I'm gonna do whatever because I want to. I think it's weird to feel like you have to wait on something to be popular to then start doing it, because you can't say that and then in the same breath be like, well, gyaru is about pushing boundaries. That is all for this video. Let me know how you feel about some of these opinions. I try to be devil's advocate and see both sides. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like, comment, and subscribe, as well as turn on notifications so you never have to miss another video. Bye!